We ask AI assistants pretty much everything, right? From super complex coding problems to what we should make for dinner. But have you ever stopped to think about who's grading their answers? Who's the one deciding if an AI is actually helpful or accurate or even safe? Well, we're about to pull back the curtain because the answer is way more human than you probably think.
I mean, it's the big question, isn't it? You get a response that looks so confident, sounds so authoritative, but is it actually right? How can we be sure that the information we're getting isn't just, well, a really well-written lie?
And here's the surprising answer. It's people. Yep, behind these incredibly sophisticated AI models, there's a massive global army of human evaluators. Their entire job is to read, research, and rate what the AI says, giving it the critical feedback it needs to learn how to be better. So today, we're going to go behind the scenes. We're using the actual training manuals that these human graders use to see exactly how an AI gets its report card. This is the real nitty-gritty of how they measure and improve quality.
Okay, so if you're a human grader, where do you even start? It's definitely not as simple as just giving a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Nope, it's a super detailed methodical process that all starts by breaking down the AI's answer into its smallest possible parts.
The very first step is to perform, well, a kind of linguistic surgery on what the AI wrote. The goal is to isolate every single piece of information that can actually be put to the test.
Let's look at how this actually works. Take this prompt about the movie The Shawshank Redemption. The AI's response gets completely deconstructed into these individual claims. Simple statements like it's a 1994 film or it's about a banker, those become the basic units they fact-check. And get this, even a phrase like some viewers find it to be too long is considered an objective claim because you can actually go find reviews and verify that. So this distinction is absolutely crucial. An objective claim is something you can prove true or false with evidence. A subjective claim, like calling the movie a classic, is more of an opinion. And evaluators are told to accept those as accurate, unless they're just completely unreasonable or go against what pretty much everyone thinks.
So once all the claims have been identified, that's when the real detective work begins. The evaluators basically become investigators, and their mission is to verify every single piece of information. And this whole process is incredibly methodical. So after they identify all the claims, the evaluators dive into research. And this isn't just a quick search, it's a deep dive, using reputable sources for every single point. And only after all that investigation is done, do they assign one final factuality rating to the entire response.
But what does research even mean here? I mean, they can't just use the first thing that pops up on a search page. They're actually trained to judge sources based on a really clear set of criteria. Is the information up to date? Is it from an expert or an original source? Does it actually fit the context of what the user asked? And maybe most important of all, do a bunch of other trustworthy sources all say the same thing?
But fact-checking isn't always so black and white. Sometimes really reputable sources actually disagree with each other. For example, art historians debate the exact dates the Mona Lisa was painted. So if those kinds of conflicts can't be resolved, the claim is rated as disputed. It's a great reminder that even for an AI, some facts live in a gray area. And that's when you really need careful human judgment.
Okay, so here's the thing. An answer can be 100% factually accurate and still be a terrible response. It could be rude or way too long, or maybe it just completely missed the point of the question. And this is where the evaluation process gets much, much broader.
That's because these evaluators are grading responses across a whole spectrum of different criteria. They're looking at the total user experience, which goes far beyond just checking the facts.
And here they are, the 6 dimensions. As you can see, truthfulness is just one slice of the pie. Evaluators also rate for safety to filter out anything harmful. They look at writing style for clarity and tone. They check how well it followed instructions and verbosity. Was it too long or too short? All of these things feed into a final overall quality score. So a really great response has to nail all of these.
This is a perfect example of why this all matters. If you ask for breakfast options and you just get a list of names, well, that's factually correct, but it's not very helpful, is it? That's what they'd call too short. The just right response gives you that list, but also adds a little bit of useful detail for each item. See? That's a much better user experience.
And then there's safety, which is absolutely paramount. Here, evaluators act as a critical line of defense. They're trained to immediately flag any response that promotes harm, has abusive language, or gives out dangerous advice. You could honestly argue this is the most important part of their entire job.
This quote, and this is pulled directly from one of the evaluation manuals,
It just sums up the whole philosophy. It's not about being a robot checking facts. It's about empathy. It's about really understanding what a real person is looking for, and then judging the AI's response from that human perspective.
So ultimately, all of this detailed claim-by-claim, dimension-by-dimension analysis, it all serves one big purpose: to build a better AI for every single one of us. A lot of the time, the job isn't even just to grade one response by itself. Evaluators are often shown two different AI models answering the exact same prompt, head-to-head, and they have to choose which one is better. This direct comparison is so powerful because it teaches the AI not just what's good, but what's better, creating this competitive push that makes it improve really fast.
And that's really the bottom line. Every rating, every fact check, every A versus B comparison is a little piece of data that gets fed right back into the system. This whole human-in-the-loop process is a continuous cycle of feedback and getting better. It's how the AI learns nuance, how it learns safety, and what it really means to be helpful.
So, the next time you get an answer from an AI, remember that hidden human element, that global team of evaluators working to make that response just a little bit better than the last one. Knowing that there's a person behind the curtain judging the machine on your behalf, does that change how you'll think about using AI?